Cold Reckoning presents. They fired me the day I returned from my mother's funeral. Here's what happened next. She buried her mother on a Thursday. She was fired on a Monday. The termination letter was already on her desk when she walked in. Chen had worked at Pinnacle Consulting for 8 years. 8 years of late nights, client wins, and performance reviews ranking her in the top 5%. She had never missed a deadline. She had never filed a complaint. When her mother was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, Maya filed for bereavement leave immediately. She got written confirmation. She arranged coverage. She did everything by the book. She spent 11 days watching her mother die. She held her hand at the end. She gave the eulogy. 4 days later, she put on her coat and went back to work. Her badge didn't scan at the entrance. A security guard let her in. She took the elevator to the 4th floor. There was an envelope where her keyboard should have been. She opened it, standing up. She was still wearing her coat. The letter was dated 2 days before she'd even returned. It cited organizational restructuring. It thanked her for her service. It was signed by her manager, Craig Holloway. She looked up from the letter. Her desk had been cleared. Her photos were gone. Her plant was gone. Someone else's coffee mug was already there. The replacement had already started. Craig Holloway walked past at 9:14 a.m. He saw her standing there. He did not stop. He did not speak. He looked at her like a problem he'd already solved and kept walking. Maya stood there for 2 more minutes. Then she picked up the letter, folded it, put it in her bag, and walked out. In the lobby, she sat on a bench and called her sister. She said, what Craig Holloway didn't know was that Maya had kept everything. Every email, every approval, every document, every single one. Her attorney reviewed the file in 2 hours and called back with a rare tone. Excitement. This is textbook. They terminated you during a protected bereavement period with written confirmation of approved leave. The replacement was hired before they notified you. They didn't follow their own termination protocol. And Craig personally approved the leave and signed the termination letter. Which means he can be named individually. Companies assume that grieving people don't fight back. They count on exhaustion. They count on being too broken to move. Craig Holloway had made the most expensive miscalculation of his career. Week 1, Rachel filed with the EEOC and sent a litigation hold notice. Discovery revealed Craig had begun interviewing Maya's replacement while she was still on approved leave. He'd emailed HR saying it was due to performance concerns. Her last 3 reviews rated her exceeds expectations. Week 6, a second former employee came forward with a nearly identical story. Pinnacle's attorneys offered $40,000 to settle. Rachel's response was one sentence: "We'll see you in court." They settled 11 days before trial. The number had changed significantly. Initial offer, $40,000. Final settlement, $340,000. The settlement included a financial payment, a formal written acknowledgement of wrongful termination, and a third-party HR audit, results shared with the Department of Labor. Craig Holloway was fired for cause 1 week after the settlement. His LinkedIn went quiet. His references went silent. The audit found 11 additional instances of improper termination over 5 years. 7 involved employees who had filed for protected leave within 60 days of being let go. Pinnacle issued a public statement about internal reflection and policy reform. Maya read it on her phone, at her new desk, in the office she had just signed a lease for. She hadn't planned to start a company. But 8 years of client relationships have a way of following you when you leave. Chen Strategic opened 4 months after the settlement. Her first hire was a former Pinnacle colleague who had watched what happened and decided she wanted to work for someone she trusted. Word travels fast in professional services. Clients started asking questions. Questions became calls. Calls became contracts. Within 18 months, Chen Strategic had 4 of Pinnacle's top 10 clients. Not because she undercut them on price. Because clients had watched how Pinnacle treated a loyal employee of 8 years. And decided they didn't want to be next. 2 years after that Monday morning, Maya sat at the head of her own conference table. 14 employees, a client list that would have made her former manager nervous. On the wall of the office, on the day they moved in, she had written one line. People first, deadline second, profit third, in that order, always. Craig Holloway found contract work at a smaller firm. He signed an NDA and cannot speak publicly about what happened. He received exactly the silence he gave Maya on that Monday morning. She never sent him a message, never posted his name, never needed to. If this story stayed with you, subscribe to Cold Reckoning. Every day, stories like this, real consequences, karma that doesn't wait. She walked in that morning, still grieving. They thought they were ending her story. They were writing the first chapter.